Hi, good morning, Outlookers. How are you today? I hope that everything is well with you, as things are really great with me. Now, today, I would like to share with you the story about Job. Now, do you believe that bad things still happen to good people? Well, it is what happened to Job. No, so Job was a righteous man, a holy man. He was so obedient to the Lord and so very religious, and he was so rich. He was so wealthy. You know, the people in the Old Testament, no, most of God's people in the Old Testament were wealthy, no. So Job was one of them. Now, in the book of Job, no, I'm going to read to you the prologue of the book of Job. No? So chapter 1, in the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless, upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. No? So the wealth of a person before, no, in the Old Testament was measured by how many animals he tended or owned and how many servants were there under him, no, or slaves under him. Now, he was the greatest man among all the people of the East. That is how Job was described in the prologue of the book of Job. No, so what happened to him? What happened to him? Now, Job was an object of God's pleasure. No, malipayon, nalipay kaayo si Lord sa iyang kinabuhi. So there was one time, still in chapter 1, verse 6, one day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" So we can see here a picture of the spiritual realm, mga kaigsuunan, no? The angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and nag-apil-apil sad si Satanas, no? Mi-apil siya og present sa iyang kaugalingon. So the Lord said to him, "Where have you been? Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Gasuroy-suroy, nangitag biktima, mga kaigsuunan. Now, then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." So, I was so struck by this verse, no? It was the Lord who presented Job to Satan. Have you considered Job? No, have you considered Job, my servant Job? So, murag gi-present ni Lord si Job not to be destroyed, but the Lord was certain, no, that Job will not turn his back on him, on God, no, whatever happens. So he presented Job to Satan. "Have you considered my servant Job? There's no one on earth like him. He is so blameless, upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Ano ang reply ni Satan? "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied, "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land." Sabi ni Satan, no, you have put an hedge around him. A hedge kasi was a sign of protection, no? So sabi ni Satan, kasi naman you are surrounding him with your protection, you are blessing him. Ang dami ng animals niya, ang dami ng servants niya. But in verse 11, "But stretch out your hand, strike everything he has. He will surely curse you to your face." Sabi ni Satan. Mabuti lang yan si Job. Kanya, no? Mabuti lang si Job ngayon kasi binibless mo siya. Pero subukan mo na strike ang lahat na nasa kanya. Kung titingnan natin kung he will not curse you, no? Titingnan natin kung mag-worship pa siya sa'yo. So in verse 12, the Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." No? So the Lord in this verse allowed Satan to do something with the properties of Job, with what Job had in his hands. But sabi niya, wag mong galawin ang tao kasi akin yan. No? Do not lay a finger on the man himself. So mga kapatid, we can see that the Lord is in full control of everything. Even the bad things that happen to us or to people as a work of Satan is allowed by the Lord. No, hindi makakapag Satan cannot do anything to anyone without the permission from the Lord, no? And here baka sasabihin natin, bakit naman why did God allow that Job will be destroyed, or the properties of Job will be stricken? Now this is part of the trials, no? Can bad things happen to good people? Yes, mga kapatid, no? Because these trials strengthen us some more in our faith in the Lord, no? So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing, the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabaeans attacked and carried them." So yan. So what happened? Naubos ang mga animals ni Job, no? Mga sheep, donkeys, cattle, and everything. Naubos lahat, no? Naubos lahat. And worse than that, his children, his beloved children, the beautiful and handsome children of Job died, no? Kasi they were partying in the house of the eldest, and then a strong wind blew the house and the house fell on them, no? So Job was not, hindi na tinag si Job nung nag-report yung mga servants niya na naubos yung mga animals niya. But when another servant reported about his children, Job tore his clothes and put ashes on his head. Grieving or mourning was manifested in the Old Testament by tearing off the clothes and then putting ashes, because it is a sign of grief and mourning. Yan. So, yan ang nangyari kay Job. Ano kaya ang response niya or reaction niya sa mga nangyari sa kanya? No? So, I will share that to you on the next video, mga Outlookers. For now, I would like to say, continue to love the Lord. Be amazed with everything that He is doing around you, because every day a miracle is happening around you. Okay? So, God bless us all.